Hello, everyone. Hi. Welcome to Steve Rosenfield's stand-up comedy workshop show. Thank you so much for tuning in. What you are going to see tonight is a company of stand-up comedians who have trained together in a workshop conducted by the award-winning comedy director, founder of the American Comedy Institute, and author of the book Mastering Stand-Up, Steve Rosenfield. Some of the comedians who have trained in this workshop have gone on to perform on The Tonight Show, The Late Show, Conan O'Brien, Gotham Comedy Live, Saturday Night Live, and Comedy Central, and they perform in the best clubs all over the United States and all over the world. And speaking of all over the world, we have students from all across the country tonight because now with our workshops online, no matter where you live, you can pursue your dream of doing stand-up comedy and you can work with Steve Rosenfield right from the comfort and safety of your own home. So excited about our lineup tonight. We have a lot of great comics, including comics making their stand-up comedy debut. So thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Michaela Fagan. I'm going to be your host tonight. And I'm just so relieved because I have narrowly escaped a long stint of time in Florida. Terrifying place. Oh my gosh. But thankfully, I wasn't alone. I was with quite the dynamic duo. Ladies and gentlemen, what a great couple. They've been married for 26 beautiful years. They've watched all 8 seasons of Dexter thrice. And they still don't believe in global warming. It was Mike and Tina Fagan. Just the greatest parents in the whole world, Mike and Tina. We had a nice time. They live in a 55 and over community, which meant I lived in a 55 and over community. So I fell asleep every night with the knowledge that I was the only fertile woman in at least a mile. So if this became a situation where like we have to repopulate the earth, there's going to be a line of old men knocking down my door. I had to get out. However, I did establish the parameters of the competition that would have ensued. So only those with active driver's licenses could apply. And then there'd be like a jitterbug competition just to determine their style and endurance. And then a bocce ball tournament to the death. I would procreate with the lone victor. So thankfully for the older men in their community, I got out. I'm back in New York. It probably wouldn't have worked out anyway because I'll admit, in college, I was a lesbian, and I still am because I'm not a quitter. I don't quit. Absolutely not, even when it gets tough. No. I should have known I was gay way earlier. I didn't realize it until I was like 18. But even growing up, like watching Disney movies, I never related to the princess. I didn't want to be the princess. Like, I far more related to the chubby woodland creature in like the C plot of the animated movie. Like, I was that food motivated chipmunk. I am Gus Gus. Like, I could really relate to the feeling of like carrying a bunch of corn kernels underneath your chin, running as fast as you can back to your hole, and they just keep popping out like a Pez dispenser until you're left with none. I felt that. Or like when all the other mice were sewing a garment, tying a bow, making a beautiful gown, I was that mouse like napping in the corner using a hunk of Swiss cheese as a pillow. That felt right to me. I mean, would I rather be the object of the handsome prince's of like affection? No. Or the object of the palace cat's obsession. That's what I wanted. Like we'd have a complicated relationship, but they'd never catch me. So I also probably should have known I was gay because growing up, I wanted to be a nun. That was like my actual real life goal. I'm like, wait, you're telling me I could live with hundreds of women in a castle? Amazing. Be a princess in the kingdom of our Lord? I love it. And it's like, I know Jesus is technically your husband, but it's like he's always on a business trip. I've never seen the guy. He doesn't come around much. Would have been great. Would have been pretty sweet. Um, so the pandemic has given me lots of time to watch daytime television. And I have to admit, I'm a big fan of Toddlers and Tiaras on TLC. I love a good childhood beauty pageant. I'm kind of mad at my parents for never putting me in one because I feel like my introduction alone onto the stage like could have won me a title. The woman would have to introduce me like, and now coming to the stage, we have little Miss Michaela Fagan. She has brown hair, brown eyes, and a golden heart. Her 2 favorite things to do are rip worms in half and eat Kraft singles straight from their individual plastic packaging. Her record is 23 in a row. Wow, Michaela. That's a lot of cheese. She loves her parents, her cats, and maybe Jesus, but she's skeptical. Her favorite smells are gasoline and pork. And when she grows up, she'd like to be a Radio City Rockette or rich. This is little Miss Michaela. I feel like I could have won. I could have won something. I am lucky. I'm not the only queer person in my family. I have a wonderful aunt who is gay. She has an amazing wife, and they give great advice, except it's just a little outdated. They came out in a vastly different time than me. So I'll come to them with a question like, hey, how long should I wait before I message this girl on TikTok? And they're like, okay, here we go. Okay, here's what you're going to do. Step number 1, marry a man. Wait 10 to 12 years. I'm like, no, that's not, I don't think you understand my question. Like, yeah. It's all part of the process, okay? Then at your weekly all girls poker game, go on up to your friend Debbie and give her a passionate but clumsy kiss on the side of the cheek. Wait 10 to 12 more years. It never happened. Okay, good. Then at your goddaughter's communion, go on up to Debbie. Don't worry, she's invited. She's like family. Kiss her full on the mouth. Tell her you love her, you die for her, live happily ever after. In secrecy, tell no one. Does that help? I'm like, no, but thank you. Thank you very much. The intention was good. I love you. Thank you all so much. My name's Michaela Fagan. I'm so excited to bring your first comedian to the screen. She is so funny. You will love her. All the way from Jackson, New Jersey. Please give it up for Emily Page.
Thank you so much, Michaela. So I'm divorced, and honestly, I think it's very important that everyone get divorced at least once, because your first marriage is like your first job. Like, you don't really know what you're doing and you don't really care. You just show up and kind of half-ass it and hope you can use it as a resume builder. When I first told my friends I was getting divorced, they asked me, what did you do with your ring? Did you trade it in for cash? I was like, no, I traded it in for freedom and happiness. I'm not against getting married again someday. I just think this time I'd be a lot more realistic about it. Like, even my wedding vows would be more realistic. I'd be like, I take you, in all honesty, to be my second choice for convenience and for lack of trying, for richer or at least a 401k, in sickness, unless you're throwing up, or in health, unless you have a 7-figure insurance policy, as long as we both shall live, or until my ex comes to his senses and realizes I'm the love of his life and gets rid of that hoochie that he left me for. So my daughter started stealing money out of my wallet. She's 2, and she's stealing money out of my wallet. She is so advanced. I didn't start stealing money from my parents until I was like 14. So essentially, I wasted my childhood. There were 12 productive years I could have used. I'm amazed my parents never did anything about it. Thank God somehow she learned from my mistakes. I am so proud of my daughter. The only problem is now, when I go grocery shopping, I have to ask her for money. I'm not saying that my daughter is a psychopath, but she does laugh every time we watch The Lion King and Mufasa dies. So there's that. Before you become a parent, you really don't know what you're capable of. Like, before I had my daughter, I never understood why parents were always complaining that they were so tired. Then I had my daughter and spent many nights wondering how much Tylenol was enough to make her sleep, but not kill her. Sometimes I feel like a bad mom. Like, when I went back to work after having my daughter, everybody was coming up to me and they were like, oh my gosh, you must miss her so much. And I was like, who? My friend was telling me how the insurance she gets from work lists pregnancy in the same category as attempted suicide. And I was like, that makes sense. They both end your life. Dating as a single mom has been really interesting. I was talking to this one guy and he was like, I know I'll never be number one in your life because that's your daughter. And I just want you to know that I'm okay with being number two. And I was like, my daughter's like fifth. So that would make you like nine at best. I recently started dating someone, and my ex-husband is really nervous about my new relationship because he doesn't want our daughter to have another father figure in her life. And I was like, don't worry, I'm the only one who calls him daddy. I told my therapist about the guy I've been seeing, and at the end of my session, she was like, Emily, if you don't date him, I will. So now they're really happy together. In fact, since we started dating and doing sessions together, her life's never been so good. Like, she took my money, my man, and any hope I had for the future. A while back, I was seeing another guy for about 3 months before he turned to me and he said, I don't think I'm ready to date. I was like, so does that mean I shouldn't have moved all my stuff in? Thank you guys so much.
Emily Page! Your next comic coming to the screen is all the way from very chilly Buffalo, New York. Please give it up for the very funny Gian Miso.
Hey, hi, hello, thank you so much. Oh my God, all right. I was born and raised in New Orleans. In 2005, when I was 14, we got hit by Hurricane Katrina. The government gave my mom this FEMA check, and we FEMA checked the fuck out of there. My mom, so I moved to Buffalo, very different place. In New Orleans, we had Mardi Gras, we had Jazz Fest, we had Ghosts and Voodoo. In Buffalo, here's the list of amazing things that are comparable to New Orleans activities. 1, getting drunk at a Bills game. 2, and that's a list. If you think Ghosts and Voodoo are scary, then you haven't been the only sober person sitting amongst 50,000 drunk Buffalo Bills fans. That shit is terrifying. There's this one Bills game where this dude got so drunk off the balcony, he fell off the balcony and landed in the stands right in front of me. I'm a little bitch, so I'm screaming, oh my God, call 911. Everyone around me is like, oh my God, he spilled his beer. Man, yeah, so the NFL was thinking about canceling the 2020 football season due to the threat of losing people to the coronavirus. But in Buffalo, before the pandemic, we were already losing people to the coronavirus, the Labatt Blue virus, the Molson Canadian virus, the Canadian Leaf Whiskey virus, all the viruses. And we're never going to cancel football. The Bills will play during the apocalypse. Jesus will come down on the Bills home field behind the Bills line of scrimmage, and Bills fans will be like, hey, what the fuck is Jesus doing? We got 12 men now. That's illegal. Somebody get Jesus off the field. Hey, Jesus, get the fuck off the field. So the Buffalo Bills are named after the Wild West legend Buffalo Bill. And but the Bills logo is not Buffalo Bill. It's a picture of a buffalo. Buffalo Bill nearly killed over 4,000 buffalo in one hunting season. The man nearly made buffalo extinct. That's like a team named the Christopher Columbuses, and on the uniform is a picture of a Cherokee native. I don't know about that. That's a messed up logo logic. That's like the cops. And on the on the helmet is a picture of a black man. I don't know, that's just a messed up logo logic right there. Another thing that's messed up is the fact that my friend has type 1 diabetes, and it costs her $1,600 a month just to pay for insulin. And she's shooting up all this expensive stuff, and it doesn't even get her fucked up. Now that's fucked up. Like she's got $1,600 a month. Like she could be taking some fire ass heroin, but instead, every time she needs a refill of that bunk shit, she's got to pay $1,600 a month. That's an outrage. And you know, and the government knows like what we could do to make insulin way less expensive. Make insulin illegal. Like everybody knows that if you make things illegal, it becomes way more accessible. Like if insulin was on the DEA's list of Schedule 1 controlled substances, then we could go to the street corner and get dime bags of insulin. Like how cool would that be if my friend could go to the bodega and get Lucy's of insulin? Like, hey, what's up, my man? Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, let me get 2 Newports, 2 insulins, and a Snickers bar. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam. Yeah, so I was diagnosed bipolar 2 because doctors like to categorize a serious mental illness the same way DreamWorks likes to categorize the Fast and Furious franchise starring Vin Diesel. There's Fast and Furious 1, Fast and Furious 2, Bipolar 1, Bipolar 2, Bipolar Tokyo Drift. Coming to a psychiatric center near you. Bipolar 3, Tripolar. Oh, man. So my whole life, I've been known as an ass man. Well, I started out as a butt boy. Worked my way up to ass man. Hey, whoever's watching this right now, you are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Good night. I'll see y'all later.
Gian Miso. Oh my gosh, Bipolar 2 Tokyo Drift. That's my new favorite thing. Your next comic coming to the screen is making their stand-up comedy debut all the way from Medford, Oregon. Please give it up for the very funny Jay Reese.
Hey, thank you. You know, some days I hate working, not because I don't like my job, but because my boss can be a real asshole. He's temperamental, always wants to know where I am, what I'm doing. He's got me going in a million different directions all at the same time. And I can't quit. I'm self-employed. I'm a real estate broker, and I do pretty well. I'm not a member of the 1% yet, but I can go to an ATM and withdraw cash without praying first. And because my day job requires me to be on the phone all day, I've really grown to hate the phone. The only time I want to call is if you're driving by my house and it's on fire. You know what? Just call the fire department. And now, we don't even send words for text messages anymore. It's just memes or GIFs, the short little videos. And whenever I'm sending a GIF as a response, I'm basically saying that I cannot find in the 250,000 words in the English language the right words to express my thoughts. Instead, I feel that my words and my thoughts and emotions are best expressed by the short clip of a girl spitting milk out of her mouth. And I think a lot of times texting is really just a convenient way to lie. Like I'll send my wife a meme that I think is absolutely hilarious, and she'll just text back, LOL. I'm sitting right next to her. She's not LOLing. And I remember when cell phones became popular, like we were really excited to have them and we wanted to find a way to show them off. So we'd put them in a holster, like on our belt, like we were some sort of cowboy trying to look really cool with a quick draw. Like, hello? Why? And I remember when I would assign ringtones to my VIPs, or like my ex-girlfriend, for her I chose Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. And now I have the same ringtone for everyone. It's called, well, you'd know it if you heard it. It's silent. And, I've got to admit that there are so many things that you can do with a cell phone, really. Like I can get directions, text, change the song, eat, trim my beard, and drive my stick shift all at the same time. It's really pretty impressive. And I don't understand why people post things on social media that are directed to their immediate family. I mean, they're right there. Like recently, one of my 3,542 closest Facebook friends posted a picture of his daughter with the message, "Sweetheart, you can do all things." I mean, I've got 2 daughters. I get the sentiment, but she can do all things. Don't you feel like you're setting her up for failure? I mean, the kid's 6 months old. You know, there's probably a few things she can't do, like walk, talk, feed herself. You know, when you raise a kid who believes that they can do all things, I mean, it could really cause some problems. You might get someone like Kanye West, a guy who thought he could actually be president. And I'm not convinced he can feed himself or wipe his own ass either. I'm pretty young, but my kids are already way more advanced with technology than I am. Like one day, my pen wasn't working, so I started shaking it like this, trying to get the ink flowing again. My 12-year-old daughter was kind enough to point out, "Dad, that's your electric pen for your iPad." And my kids, you know, they want to get as many pets as they can. And I've heard people say that you shouldn't get a pet unless you're ready to treat it like a member of your family. Yeah, I don't think so. Because if Uncle Jimmy came over and started barking out the window all day and rubbing his bare ass on the carpet, he'd be out of there permanently. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Jay Reese, stand-up comedy debut. You're right. Uncle Jimmy would be gone and not invited to Thanksgiving. Absolutely not. No way. Your next comic coming to the screen is performing all the way from New York City. I could wave to her across the East River. Hi. Your next comic is the very funny Kathy Neville Brown.
Right now, my adult son is living with me, but I don't have much authority over him. A while back, we were having dinner and he came to the table. He wasn't wearing a shirt. So I asked him to put on a t-shirt, but he just ignored me and kept eating. So I took off my shirt. He ran upstairs and came back fully dressed. I told him, relax, I get the point. You can take off the scarf, the tie, the sport jacket, and the sweater. My teenage son also lives with me. I was cleaning the bathroom and right next to the toilet, I saw a little puddle of pee and a little piece of pizza. How did that happen? Was he standing there with a slice in one hand and his dick in the other? Last night we were having pizza again and he offered to hand me a slice and I was like, no, 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 no. Growing up, I never learned to cook. But in my 20s, I wanted to learn because I wanted to make something special for my boyfriend for our anniversary. So my girlfriend gave me a recipe and she called the next day and asked how it went. I told her it was a total disaster. She said, well, why? What did he say? I said, he said it was delicious. She said, no, I don't understand. How is that a disaster? And then I told her what he actually said was, it's delicious. I never saw him again. Another girlfriend asked me if living with my sons was killing my sex life. I said, sex life? What is that again? I told her, the only thing that kills my sex life is when the batteries die. I do remember dating vaguely. I had a strict rule for younger men. No one whose birthday was in the same decade as my son's birthday. My oldest is turning 30 this year. Well, there goes that rule. As for older men, I don't insist that they pay for dinner. I do insist that they pay for prescriptions. The last older guy I dated was such a jerk. He broke up with me right after I paid for his Viagra. My father called me up screaming, Kathy, your mother is dying. I must admit, I was more confused than alarmed by this because she's been dying for 35 years. I said to him, okay, what hospital is she in? Oh, New York Presbyterian. Oh, that's good, because she really didn't like dying at Bellevue or at White Plains Hospital. And she hated dying at Montefiore in the Bronx. Although when she was dying at Greenwich Hospital, she liked that. It was very upscale. My dad got really mad and said, Kathy, this isn't funny. She's really dying this time. And I said, well, how do you know for sure? And he said, because she keeps going on and telling me about it. She won't shut up about it. I tried to pray for my mother, although why pray to an omniscient God if he already knows everything? Dear Lord, this is, well, of course you know who this is. I don't pray and ask you for much. You know that, but I mean, who's keeping score? Oh, you are. Well, it's about my, yeah, her again. Well, we're really worried. She seems really sick this time. Oh, you don't want her. Oh, okay, well, neither do we. My mother always has to be the center of attention. When she was 40, she had breast cancer. And I was diagnosed a few years ago. I'm fine now, don't worry. When I told her, she said, how big is the cyst? I told her 1.2 centimeters. She said, oh, thank God, thank God. I said, thank God. Why thank God? She said, 1.2 centimeters, that's nothing. Mine was 4.8. When are they starting you on chemotherapy? I said, I'm not having chemotherapy. She said, no chemotherapy. You call that cancer? We call that pre-cancer. Crazy is not new in my family. When my sister-in-law was having her first baby, I let her borrow my beautiful high-end Bellini crib. Well, she used it, and then she just gave it away to some random cousin without even asking me. I was so mad, I called her up. I said, Lisa, I am so mad at you. How could you do this? I would call you a cunt, but you lack the depth and the warmth. Thank you very much for all your warmth tonight. Stay warm, thanks.
Kathy Neville Brown. Yes, stay warm. Stay as warm as what she just said before. Stay as warm as one of those. Your next comic coming to the screen is performing all the way from Washington, D.C. She's so funny. I love her. You're going to love her too. Please give it up for Yelena Kulik.
My son, who is 14, just got his report card. Because of this pandemic, his school is online. And he got all C's. I called his teacher and I said, under these conditions, he should be getting all A pluses. He's still alive. My daughter just took her driving test. And she told me because of this pandemic, the MVA officer will not get in the car with her. And I said, I'm so proud of you. You're just like me. Even before a pandemic, when I drive, nobody gets in the car with me either. My daughter is smoking all the time, and it smells funny. I asked her, what are you smoking? And she said, oh, that's herb sage. It gets rid of the coronavirus. And I'm so proud of her because now she smokes all day and night. She smoked in the kitchen and left. And my husband walked in and he's like, what is this smell? Are you smoking pot? I said, you don't know me at all. I don't smoke pot. I eat edibles. I'm interested in this new popular trends in America right now, like cryotherapy, where you expose yourself to sub-zero temperatures. There's also intermittent fasting, where you starve yourself like most of the day, every day. And then there's minimalism, where you live with less than 100 things and you can't own anything. They call this living a happy and more meaningful life. In Russia, we called it communism. I'm in this amazing romantic relationship. We never argue. He never asked me to do dishes. He calms me down. He reads to me. He has this sexy voice. I actually met him on this dating app, Audible. I think his name is Matthew McConaughey. Department of Homeland Security recommends that we all have a survival bag. He said some of the items it contains: duct tape, work gloves, matches, emergency blanket, and a raincoat. I mean, if I get a COVID, am I camping outside of the hospital? Here's an irony. I learned that I have ADD by watching 30 seconds video on TikTok. But I don't know what to do about it because I didn't finish watching. I used to hate go to these parties. I'd rather stay home to read a good book. But lately, I've been feeling so lonely. I don't feel this way anymore. I miss my husband's best friend pinch me on the ass. I'll kill for that. I miss interacting with people. I was in the grocery store the other day, and this nice guy struck up a conversation with me. And I said, "Thank you so much for talking with me. Lately, I've been feeling so lonely and isolated. I don't see people anymore. I don't kiss anymore. I don't hug anymore. I feel depressed." And he's like, "Ma'am, I just ask paper or plastic." My husband called up to me and complained that I forgot to order the groceries online. And I said, "What do you want of me? Don't you understand I'm on the computer right now running entire universe?" My husband thinks that I ask for presents that are just too expensive. And I said, "Okay, I'll stop asking for the swimming pool." And he said, "Okay, thank you, that's better." And I said, "Can I still please get a pool boy?" Thank you so much. I love you.
Yelena Kulik from Washington, D.C. Yelena, you bring up one of the many things Matthew McConaughey and Steve Rosenfield have in common, and that's they both have an audiobook, Mastering Stand-Up on Audiobook. One of the many things they have in common. Your next comic coming to the screen is making his stand-up comedy debut. He's performing all the way from Brunswick, Maine. Please give it up for the very funny Christopher Ladner.
Hi, thank you, Michaela. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here this evening. I'm every parent's cautionary tale. My wife and I, we have 5 daughters. Yeah, I know. I'm asked all the time how that happens. Turns out pretty easily. You see, and my wife got me drunk and promised me a threesome. I'm pretty sure I misunderstood. The second one came because she said that it was going to entertain the first one. I'm all about less work. The third, well, she was a little bit of a surprise about 10 months after our last date night in 4 years. 4 and 5? I stopped counting. I gave up on everything. The Porsche I wanted, the lake house, weekends, good credit, getting any credit for any time of anything I ever do the rest of my life. Dibs on any one of my 3 fucking bathrooms. Before you ask me if I have a favorite, let's recap. A young woman will menstruate about every 23 days. I've got 5 daughters. That means I have 5 vaginas in my house I had no plan for. My favorite is the one that elopes first. Right now it's a toss-up. I've got Ophelia, Isabel, the one that's a vegan this week, the other one that hates my guts for no apparent reason. How many is that? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I don't know, you know. Anyway, my wife, she is completely obsessed with my health. She's counting every bit of calories I'm putting into my body. She's scheduling out my exercise programs. She says it's because she loves me and that she can't imagine a life without me. But I'm pretty certain that she's figured out that if I die first, she's got no prospects. I mean, her dating profile would have to say something like attractive middle-aged mom looking for a like-minded partner to share in candlelight dinners and long walks on the beach with 5 moody daughters and a dog. The perfect match would enjoy a spontaneous hysteria and have access to a 8-passenger minivan. Good luck with that. On the brighter side, I love what I do for work. I'm a funeral director. Yeah. You know what I love most about my job? The silence. My friends and I are all getting older, and they're saying things like, every day above ground is a good day. Well, I'm not saying that. I got bills to pay. I'm telling them, hey, listen, I hear heaven is beautiful this time of year. And let's face it, I don't have a backup plan either. And my wife is not sticking around without open credit. I refused to put a Black Lives Matter sign in our front yard. My daughters were disgusted with me. They called me a cis white male clinging to privilege. Well, I said to them, first of all, I don't understand half of what you just said. Second, racists, they have funerals too. So if I were you, I would double up my prayers to every God there is and hope that this guy here buries enough racists that the lot of you can waste 4 years of your life in college chasing after a social science degree, whatever the fuck that is. My wife tells me I shouldn't be talking to the girls alone. I get it. My youngest, she came home from school one day in tears because she got in trouble for saying crap. So I put her on my knee and I calmed my voice just like I practiced. And I said, honey, you can't call people crap. And you can't say they look like crap or they smell like crap. And you shouldn't tell them to go eat crap. Okay? But Daddy, I didn't say that at all. Well, honey, you should have said, you must have said something. I just got a question wrong on my quiz and I said, oh crap. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. If you can't say crap for that, you're fucked. I don't have a lot of dreams left. I love you all and appreciate you all being a part of this one. Thank you very much. Good night.
Christopher Ladner's stand-up comedy debut. Wonderful job, Christopher. And you're a very funny guy for someone surrounded by death and menstruation. Hilarious. Your next, actually, before I bring your next comic to the screen, I want to take this time to mention that our workshops right now are completely online. So no matter where you live, if you have a dream of pursuing stand-up comedy and you'd like to work with Stephen Rosenfield, you can do that at the American Comedy Institute from your own home. Our next workshop starts on March 9th. Give me an email at info@comedyinstitute.com. Check out our website, comedyinstitute.com, and come join us. We'd love to have you. Your next comic coming to the screen, we're so excited to have her on the show. You've seen her on Good Morning America, all the way from Biloxi, Mississippi. Please give it up for the very funny Katie Olson.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What up, gangsters? Yeah, we're all muted here, so I'm just going to assume hysterical laughter has already begun. And I am in Mississippi, which is weird fact about this state. It's the only place where if you look at anyone long enough, they will spit. So that's a good time. And I'm also pursuing a worthless social science degree online. I go to law school. So which I think there's something like awesomely medieval about telling people you go to law school during a plague. Like Katie wrote that brief during the plague of 2020, and then it extended into 2021. But I don't know if law school is really going to work out for me, because like I was interning at this law firm last summer, and they wanted me to show up to a meeting at 7:30 in the morning. I'm like, guys, please. If I'm meeting you at 7:30 in the morning, I fucked you the night before. Because, right? I'm like, hey, let's exchange briefs. I really want to make senior partner. So the law and me, I don't know. Though I do kind of enjoy that while everyone else on Facebook was pretending to be an expert in constitutional law, I was actually becoming an expert in constitutional law. So, I'll give you my thoughts on impeachment. A lot of my classmates have very lofty thoughts, like perhaps the 14th Amendment would have been a better route to go, but there's no clear triggering mechanism and it hasn't been used since the Civil War. My main impeachment thoughts: what the hell is wrong with Mike Pence? Dude, your boss literally sent people to kill you, right? Like he sent people and they were like, and Mike's like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't me. They were like saying, hang Mike Pence, right? I don't know how much clearer they built the thing for you to die on. I don't understand this mentality. I once quit a job because they wanted me to work Wednesdays. Okay, like you try to kill me? No, I quit dude, I'm not even kidding. One time I quit working at Mars 2112 because they thought I didn't dance like a sexy enough Martian. And I was like, I can't have this kind of degradation in my life. So if someone sent anyone to kill me, I'm trying to imagine like my job at the copy shop, right? That one lasted a while. If Doug had been like, if you don't collate these pages by Monday, they're going to hang you for treason. That would have been it for me. That would have been like my resignation would be tendered. So there's how I feel about impeachment. I'm alone in this thought though, because I'm in Mississippi, right? I'm in Mississippi, which is no one here likes me. And it's not just because I talk, because I rarely say anything to them, right? Like, and they can't really, I try to keep my eyes nice and friendly behind the mask so they can't see the disdain, but somehow they can just like smell the books on me. I think it's weird. You know, they're like, what's going on? And plus, I'm starting to develop whiplash because every time they say, hey, Miss Katie, I look around for some old white woman in pearls who's like waiting for someone to wait on her. You know, I'm not a Miss Katie. I'm like a Ms. something at best. Let's see, Michaela was like talking about being lesbian. I wish I were a lesbian. I so do, because I mean, look at me, guys. I was robbed, right? I drink, I smoke, I swear, I play softball, for God's sake. Like if there were a lesbian Olympics, I would just show up at the starting line and they'd be like, no need to run this race, right? She's all good, but sadly, I keep liking men, which is a mistake every time. Every time. What else is going on? Oh, I'm adopted, and I met my birth mother recently. And she's also very outspoken. Like our first text message, she's writing me and she says, I don't know what really happened in your life, but I'm pretty sure it's better than whatever would have happened if I'd gotten an abortion. And I didn't know what to say because there's not really like an emoji for that, you know? There's no like hanger bad, pizza good. So I just sent her a pizza because I was like, everyone likes pizza. And if she'd gotten an abortion, I never would have had pizza. And then she kept going and she's like, listen, when I met your father, I want you to know I was a sex worker, but your father was not a John, okay? He was just a merchant marine who I met in a bar one night. That's all that happened. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. So you're telling me that I am literally what happens when a hooker and a sailor walk into a bar? Like, no choice but comedy for me. No choice. Did you like me, Michaela? I'm sorry. Are you like, I have no idea. You're so entertaining. I have lost track of time and space. No one expected this liberal fire from Mississippi. I do have a JFK cutout in my room that I have to like hide whenever I do my teledoctor appointments. I'm like, don't mind the liberal, but like, I still deserve to live. What else? I had one more thing that I was gonna do, and this is not professional. I've broken every Steve Rosenfield rule, but oh yeah, I'm getting real tired of being called infirm. I have cerebral palsy and they're like, we need to vaccinate the infirm. And I'm like, no, I just can't climb stairs with a glass of wine. It's not as deep as you're making it. And when people are like, why do they need to leave the house anyway, the infirm? I'm like, well, you know, you get bored with Netflix. I also get bored with Netflix. I mean, Bridgerton was hot, but yeah, I have to find new hobbies. Anyway, you guys have been amazing. Thanks so much for listening.
Katie Olson. Katie, I was going to say, like, no lesbian can carry a glass of wine up the stairs. And that, like, maybe, you know, that gave you a lesbian point. But then you said Bridgerton was hot, and that makes you automatically straight. I did not like that show. Okay. Your next comment coming to the screen, a very funny guy and a good friend all the way from Santa Monica, California. Please give it up for the very funny Tom Susko.
Thank you so much, Michaela. Thank you, everyone. Good to be with you. A lot of my friends have been asking if I miss going out, and I have mixed feelings about it because, damn it, people keep confusing me with someone else. Oh my gosh, I thought Mr. Rogers was dead. Look, it's the Lexus salesman. Hey, isn't that Bill Nye the Science Guy? My poor wife is married to a doctor who's a hypochondriac. I said to my wife, I have cephalgia. I'm thinking this is a grade 4 angioendotheliomatosis. Tom, it's a headache. I read in the news this woman created a texting robot after her husband died. Using all their text messages, they exchanged 10,000 texts. And she says, I know it's him because the texts sound just like him when he was alive. Leave me alone. My wife and I have been married for 20 years, and we've been living the green life since the very beginning. We recycle our arguments. Like this one. Why are you always dropping things? She dropped a pen, and so I'm saying, what the heck is wrong with you? Tom, that is the dumbest questions I've ever heard. The next day she dropped a plate. You did it again. Why did you drop that? And she said, why are you asking the same dumb question? For all you single people, that in a nutshell is marriage. My wife leaves all the lights on. You left the lights on everywhere, sweetie. So you're killing the planet. You're killing my libido. Screw the planet. Let there be light. My mom was in a nursing home, and the guy said, I don't know how to tell you this, but your mother's been stealing bacon off the plates of other patients. I said to the guy, why don't you just give her her own plate of bacon? And he says to me, well, we can't. She's got a doctor's order for a pureed diet. So I told the guy, you know, my mom really loves bacon. And he said, I do too. Look, I'll call the doctor and get an exception. We really did this. She did die from bacon, not from eating it. She was running to get it. I'm a quarter Jewish, and I went to medical school in Germany just 35 years after World War II. And it was tough because, like any male patient over 60, I couldn't help thinking, were you a Nazi? I tried not to let it affect me, but there was this one time where I said to a hospital patient, take a couple aspirin and get some rest. And his wife said, doctor, I think his pelvis is broken. I'm a joint specialist, not far from Venice Beach, and it has its problems. A lot of times the response is, you're a joint specialist? Do you have some Maui Wowie or Kona Gold? I try to clear up the confusion right away. No, I deal in rheumatoid joints. Dude, I've never smoked that. As a rheumatologist, I'm always vigilant for arthritis. Recently, I saw a spider in my bedroom, and I'm pretty sure it was limping. And I was thinking, wow, imagine having arthritis and 8 knees. Ow, 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 ow. And that's just one step. I'm doing Zoom office visits, which are the same in person as in the office, except instead of you not wearing pants, I'm not. The word insurance is based on the ancient Greek word no. I've had patients who call their insurance company to beg for a doctor, to beg for a drug their doctor prescribed. It's like, why is my drug for rheumatoid arthritis being denied? Well, let me see here. Your policy is a POS, point of service? No, piece of shit. Well, what medication is covered? Vitamin C. Vitamin C, I have terrible pain from rheumatoid arthritis. Oh, you have terrible pain. Let me check what's on formulary here. Advil. You're killing me. Yes, we are. Slowly and profitably. Our medical system is so broken, I can tell you even doctors don't know how to fix it. It would take like, I don't know, like a Walt Disney with that kind of imagination to fix it. At Disneyland, you've got Frontierland, you've got Tomorrowland. They should have Hospital Land, where I imagine you get to the front of a very short line at Hospital Land and the cast member asks, do you have health insurance? No. Well then, come right in. And if you have something simple done at Hospital Land, like say a bunion surgery, afterwards your lovely nurse says, you know, you look a little bit tired. Why don't you stay here at the hospital for a month or two? And remember, if you need anything, and I mean anything, big guy, all you have to do is press Minnie Mutton's nose and you get anything you need for Disney room service. Well, when I leave the hospital, if I have pain, what should I do? Well, that's not a problem. Just visit Morphine Land. Thank you so much. Back to New York City and the host with the most, Michaela.
Oh, thank you, Tom Susko, the rheumatoid joint specialist. I'm going to start calling myself a joint specialist if I don't have to say the rheumatoid part up front, because I am joint specialist. Okay. Oh, I see that I froze for a second. Oh, no. I hope everyone can still hear me. Okay. Darn. Okay, I'm back. Sometimes that happens. Great. We're going to move on to our headliner tonight. She is so funny, performing all the way from Arizona. Give it up for Ina Swinton.
I was born in Russia, moved to America, New Jersey when I was 9. I don't have an accent. Fortunately, New Jersey destroys everything. My family used to go to a dacha. That's a Russian summer house. It's like the Hamptons with radiation. I'm a mom. My main job is taking care of our 3 kids. It's a big job. I want to spend all my time with them, so I don't cook, clean, or do laundry. I've had nannies over the years, and I've gotten really good at hiring them. There are 3 criteria: shorter, fatter, lesbian. When I was a kid in Russia, I asked my mom where babies came from, and she said she bought me at a store. I didn't believe her. It was communism. The stores were empty. When we got to America, my friend Vicky told me where babies really came from, and she said it took 9 months. Oh, you have to wait 9 months? Maybe they did get me at a Russian store. My mom loves the British royals. She watched the entire wedding of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry on TV, and she cried. I said, Mom, why are you crying? She said, do you know why? I said, no. Because you will never be a duchess. Do you know why? Because we're poor Russian Jews from Latvia? No, because you don't cook. Meghan prepared a dinner of roast chicken for Harry to get him to propose. When was the last time you roasted a chicken? I wanted to roast a chicken for my husband for our anniversary, but he said, honey, I know cooking's not your thing. Why don't you just seduce me? I wish he'd just let me roast that chicken. So during the pandemic, I know a lot of people have been very productive, and I've accomplished a few things too. Facebook has just let me know that I have earned the title of top fan of Murray's Chihuahua World. I know the world's in a crazy place, but that's no reason to forget the Chihuahuas. They have serious problems. They're very small, and they're Mexican. One good thing about the pandemic is my book club doesn't meet anymore. We never read the books anyway. All we ever did was talk about our nannies. The politics were getting too divisive. One of my friends, Olga, believes in all that conspiracy stuff on QAnon. And I said, Olga, you're very intolerant of the people on the left, and you've gone too far to the right. And she said, it doesn't matter to me which way you go, right or left, as long as you go in a yacht. I'm worried about Olga. She's recently divorced, and she posted a picture on JDate, and she's holding a big AR-15 rifle. I said, Olga, that rifle doesn't work. She said, oh, you're right. It is hiding my boobs. At the beginning of the school year, I asked if I could be a class mom, and they said no. I said, why? It's like virtual school and I wouldn't have to do anything. They said, we know, and no. I think it was because I was kicked off the Friday pizza lunch committee because I was late with the pizza twice. I said, my alarm didn't go off. They said, it's 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and something about the children going hungry again. I said, whatever. Haven't they heard of intermittent fasting? I'm worried about my son. He spends way too much time in the basement playing video games. The other day I heard him and he said, the purge is next. It's a coup. It's a coup. I was like, Maxime, are you playing 60-Second Apocalypse again? He says, no, I'm watching CNN. He spends a lot of time playing Sims. It's like this life simulation game. You pick a character and like you make choices. It affects your life. I said, get off the game. Do your homework. He said, you're right, Mom. I'm not learning anything here. The only thing I just learned is that if I become an oral surgeon and have only one wife and invest my money in Bitcoin, I can retire to Florida with $50 million. I said, oh, okay, play on, my son. My family, we have a lot of therapists. my psychiatrist, my husband's psychologist, our children's coach, and a therapist for our Chihuahua, Lola. She keeps on wanting to bite my father. Lola has issues. One of my therapists said, you have too many therapists. Why don't you just like focus on one? I said, that's a good idea. Which one are you? I know which therapist I'd get rid of. The one who went on this year-long silent retreat to Nepal and she won't shut up about it. I told my husband, I told my therapist I needed a break. I said, I love you. I can't afford you. He said, oh, I feel the same way about you. He's such a kidder. I told him, I'm way less expensive now. I mean, since the pandemic, I've started doing the laundry. He said, you're doing the laundry? I said, no, but I Googled it. And the video was exhausting. My girlfriend told me that all husbands secretly want a threesome. And I want my husband and me to be open. So I said, honey, it's all right. You can tell me. Do you want a threesome? He said, no, but I'd like you to do the laundry. My mom still likes Trump. I'm like, Mom, this is crazy. He's so anti-immigrant. You're a refugee from Latvia. She says, so what? I am here now. Close the gates. Thank you, everyone. Someone wants to say goodbye to you. It's Lola.
Dog.
Hey, everyone. Chihuahua.
So cute.
Bye, guys. Have a great night.
Lola's going to talk about that with her therapist. You putting her on display like that. She's going to need to talk to her therapist about that. Thank you all so much for watching our show. We so appreciate it. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And keep in mind, if you love making people laugh, you should do a workshop at the American Comedy Institute. Our next one is online starting on March 9th. Visit comedyinstitute.com to learn more and email me at info@comedyinstitute.com. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe and please stay warm. And we have another show with the other half of our February workshop students tomorrow night at the same time. So we will see you then. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.